everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast. My guest today is George Lytle of ANGELES. Dale is the singer and guitarist for ANGELES. ANGELES' debut album, We're No Angels, came out in 1984, and in 2014, it was certified platinum with sales over 1 million copies. Over the years, ANGELES has seen many different lineups, but they have persevered, and in March, ANGELES released their 15th album, I believe, called Running Like An Outlaw on Dark Star Records, and their single called Nothing But Love charted and reached number 22 on the Billboard Rock Radio Chart. Dale, this is exciting stuff. All these years later, and you're on the charts still. How's that feel?
Pretty amazing. A great accomplishment.
Yeah.
Very, very special.
Yeah, you should be very proud. Platinum is something special. It takes a while for some, but that's really, it was exciting to see that. You work hard to produce those records and make your music, and to have it rewarded like that with fans out there who love to hear what you do, it's pretty great.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You said it. It's work, and people don't realize that sometimes, how much work and perseverance you have to have, and you just got to get up and you got to go every day. You got to start over and try and think of new things and new ways to go forward, and you just got to keep. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
There you go. Amen to that, brother. How has making music changed for you over the years? Starting the band in '84. Do you still write the songs the same way you did?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No different. Just I sit down, and I was never one to sit down and try and learn another song. I have done that in the past for a few records, but like on our first one, we did No Sugar Tonight, and since then we've done Piece of My Heart, Take It on the Run, and Whole Lot of Love. I mean, other than that, those are probably the only, and I don't even know how to play those songs anymore. Right. But yeah, when I sit down and play the guitar to practice, it'll come out. And the last 10 years that I've been married to my wife, Connie, she'll know now when I got something new. She'll run and get the camera and film it, because I forget it, or you forget how it goes, the accents, the tactic of whatever you're coming up with. And so it's been the same way. It's just went from cassettes to 4K video.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, really. I want to talk a little bit about that too. Like, I think of '84, and I think MTV was just hitting really. It was mandatory almost to have a video at that time. Now, I don't remember anything from ANGELES in that way as far as video and MTV. Right. A couple things. Why is that? And I would imagine it's backing from the label. And do you think that had anything, a lot to do with the reason you're not on the stadium tour? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. It was with Mystic Records and Doug Moody, and he wanted us to get out there on tour, and he was saying just get a band, and we were all poor. I was poor. I just lost my mom. My dad wasn't around. We had the fans in LA, and that's how we were supported. So we didn't really have the back end of the money to go anywhere. So we were kind of stranded, if you will, and the Mystic never gave us the money. And what it was, we were with Michael Lloyd, and he was actually it was gonna be Lloyd and Curb Records. If you remember Curb Records, MTA. Yep. And we got into the studio, and we weren't supposed to cuss, drink, swear, do anything, right? We weren't supposed to be a rock band, and it was going to be his first rock band. And we were a true rock band. I mean, we were party animals. I mean, we were um, partying with the best of them back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we were no different, the drugs, the alcohol, the women, the everything. And it's like we got in the studio, and he's done Leif Garrett, Sean Cassidy, Pat Boone, Debbie Boone, the Osmonds.
Right.
And it's funny because we actually later played with Pat Boone, but at down South Georgia Stadium. I actually played there once with Ron Bushy from the Iron Butterfly as well.
Yeah.
Actually got to do In a Guided Vida with Ron Bushy. That was really an honor of all honors.
Way cool.
Rest in peace. He just passed, as I'm sure you know, not long ago, about last year. But we didn't have the backing, and we went in there, and we drank, we cussed, we smoked, we did all this stuff that we weren't supposed to do. He had never had a rock band, and he just threw us on our asses, and so we had to pick it up, and I had to get and do it myself and go to another studio. And in other words, he dropped us because we weren't, he had never had a rock band, and we were a real rock band. Right. And things have changed over the years. I mean, we're not that way no more. I've been sober for quite a while, and life changes as you get older. You got to stop that crap.
Yep.
You can't live like that forever. No. And so it just, if that had gone through, and we had got Mutt Lange or any of the greats, Roy Thomas Baker, some of the guys that were really rock producers, right, it would have been a different story. And then the MTV would have happened, and everything would have happened.
Right.
And I don't know, do you remember KMET in Los Angeles?
It sounds familiar. I'm a Chicago guy, so
yeah, right. It not as big as KLOS, but they were pretty big. Right. And they started playing our song and on the radio, and it started taking off. And then there was some point around 80, must have been 85-ish, that the Devil thing hit, and Ozzy was taking off, and Black Sabbath. You remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so they went to just really benign rock, if you will. The Tom Petty's, Dave Mason, and the Beatles they kept, I'm sure. And anyways, so I don't know. It just the MTV thing. I think if it would have stayed with that, everything would have proceeded. But if we'd got the right producer, everything I believe would have been a lot better.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with it, I'm sure. Yeah. There were certain guys back then. I remember, the Michael Wagner and Tom Werman and those guys. They had those bands for sure. When you think about We're No Angels, great title, of course. We'll talk about that too. We're No Angels. How do you feel about that first record?
I love it overall. There was some other tracks that were done at other times, and have a little bit different sound than I believe 6 on the record. I think Blade of Steel, it changed and got a little bit of a different sound to it on the drums. But overall, it was a great record. It's got a lot of great songs. Keeper of the Gate, Nasty Girls, We're No Angels, Blade of Steel, Chivalry was a cool song. It was a good record. And really getting to the name, basically who named the album was Kevin DeVreaux.
Yeah, I've heard that. I'm interested to hear that story for sure.
Yeah, we played a lot with them, and at one point I was asked to be in Quiet Riot before Kevin, not Kevin, but Carlos, and we were playing with them at the Troubadour, and I come walking in, and Kevin's standing there. He was a tall guy, and he looks up at me and he goes, "Oh, it's the Angels." Looks down at me and "Oh, it's the Angels," and I looked up at him and I said, "We're no Angels." And so I took that story back to a guy because at the time, like I said, my mom had passed away when I was 19, and I had nowhere to live. So I lived wherever we rehearsed or recorded or whatever have you. And I was living at Harlequin Studios in Northridge. And this guy, Jim, was there. And he said, hey, I told him the story. He goes, that's what you should call your first album. And there you have it. So essentially, it came down from Kevin to me talking to somebody about what had happened. And that's how we named the first record.
That's cool. That's cool. And you described the lifestyle and everything and how you guys were back then. It's a perfect title, isn't it?
Yeah, we weren't, and still to this day, people look at the name and say, oh, Angels. And that's why we try and put the girls and we're no angels underneath it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
In 81, you and Motley Crue co-headline the Troubadour. 84, you're opening up for Bon Jovi. These had to be pretty memorable experiences in the history, your history for sure, and the history of the band. Do you have a fondest memory of that time?
There's a lot of them, but a lot are foggy.
Yeah. You're no angel, right? You weren't.
Yeah, it was just the parties at the Rainbow afterwards, and the pizza and standing out in the parking lot, and seeing Ron Keel always standing in the corner, and just different people that everybody was there back then, and it was always a packed house, no matter what night of the week it was. And it was some of the best times. And after rehearsals, we lived in North Hollywood. Panorama City, we were rehearsing at our bass player's house. Because once again, I didn't have a place to live, so I lived there. And we would go after rehearsal, we would do our hair, and all the hairspray,
Of course.
we were all on our way to Hollywood. But yeah, a lot of extremely exciting times. A lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I always hear great fun stories and times from that period, and it's everybody misses that, fans and bands alike. Now, over the years, Angelus has had many different vocalists, which have given the band a different tilt, a different style. Dave Rodman, kind of classic metal thing. Lewis Collins, a little more of that bluesy vibe. You've had female singers, which obviously would give it a different vibe too. Now you're singing leads. What made you decide? You gave it a really heavy, gritty kind of thing. What made you decide to take on the lead vocal parts?
It's something that I've always wanted to do, and the next one's not going to be as gritty. It's not that way all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a higher voice, kind of clearer and higher, if you will, but that song kind of called for that. And Dave Rodman, we did 3 albums together. We did the Motley Crue, all the big shows back then together, and it was great. And we did had a lot of great times together. And then went on and we've gotten a few other singers, and Claire Diane was with us for 3 records. Mm-hmm. And she was a magnificent vocalist, very good. Yeah. We wrote a couple of great songs together, actually more than a couple. Killers of the Game was a great record. Crazy was a great record. Yeah. And she was the first one to sing God, Country, and King, but then we had Daniel Friera redo that, which was really excellent. He had that operatic type singing, and I think that's what caught Darkstar's record, if I remember right, in the first place. But as far as me going, it's something I've always wanted to do. I really, the first concert I went to was Grand Funk and Railroad at Anaheim Convention Center in 1969.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old, and I came out of that thing just going, Mom, I need a guitar.
That's awesome.
I saw him in October, and I got a Fender Mustang for Christmas.
Very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And what a band. Probably the most underrated band ever.
I think so.
Yeah. Just incredible. And I don't hear that too much, that the Grand Funk inspired you to pick up the guitar, and that's pretty great. I love to hear that.
Mark was just told that again the other day. Somebody had gotten a message through to him about that. So I'm hoping to hear from him someday.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be
we were going to open for him at the Roxy back in I think it was somewhere in the 90s. Okay. And they were headlining, of course, Mark was. Mm-hmm. And he was one of the 2 times his wife Lisa told me that he had gotten sick and had to not play a show. Yeah. So it was honestly the first time that I was so bummed out to headline a show in my life.
Yeah.
I was never so bummed out,
Right. Yeah. Oh, Mark Farner is he's a special one for sure.
Very talented.
Yes, and vocally too.
Vocally, he's still as good and strong as he was back in the day.
Yep,
it's amazing.
Yep. It is, it really is. Yeah. With this new record, was there any intention that you had when you started writing, or did you just want to write good songs, or did you say, I want a great guitar solo in every song, or I want the vocals high in the mix, or was there any specifics about the recording and writing of this record that you wanted before you started?
Fun.
Awesome.
It's like excuse me, like Killers of the Game. This is our CDs right here. Mm-hmm. On the wall. And Killers of the Game is one I went to Claire with, and I told her that I wanted it to be more in depth and more meaningful. And when I come up with in the past, I've always had the music and recorded it and handed it over to the singers and said, okay, this is kind of what I want it to be about. But I already know whether it's going to be real serious music with some gothic stuff in it or not. And this one kind of shied away from all that. And same with Hell on High Hills. I believe it was more of a stick to it, fun, straight down the center. Let's have fun music.
Yeah.
And that kind of, the next record I might get it. I love gothic, as well. Mm-hmm. But acoustic, like on the first album, Thunder's got a really good one. On Mortal Angels, Keeper of the Gate, God, Country, and King. Those are some really of my favorites that of gothic stuff.
Yeah.
And I may do that on the next record coming up. I usually like to release one out in the spring and during the summer. In the winter, time, go in and do the writing, get it ready, and then go into the studio. Right. And we've done 8 records in a row, so I'm not guaranteed one this year. I don't know if we're going to pull off a 9th one in a row this time.
Okay, yeah, that is a streak, and it's work, folks. Yeah. This is work that Dale does here. Obviously you love to do it, and it's a pleasure as well, but it takes a lot to make a record, and to make that many in a row is wow. It's incredible. It's really cool. Is there one song on the new record that might sit a little closer to your heart than the rest?
Running Like an Outlaw.
Yeah.
Even though when you look Nothing But Love hit the Billboard charts, probably that too.
Yeah.
I can't say that one's not, but I really love Running Like an Outlaw. It's just a song that everybody walks away every time we play somewhere singing. And they don't walk away singing Nothing But Love. They walk away singing running like an outlaw.
Yeah.
I'm running like an outlaw. It sticks in their head, and people love it, and they say it takes them days to get it out of their head, which is a good thing.
Yes. Yes, completely. And you have a video coming out for Running Like an Outlaw.
Yeah, it's actually out as we speak.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That's excellent. And the video, as we talked about, you got one here. It's pretty cool. And you had one. You've had a couple now. Do you like making them now that you're making them?
Well, you would have to ask my wife that as well, because she's in on it, and she gets really stressed out, and she's not she's never went to school for it. She started doing videos when we got together, and she's done quite a few now, and the editing and getting everything right, and getting everything synced up, and our record company is really on that, which I really want to give a shout out to our great record company, Dark Star, Sony, Universal, and Jeffrey Swanson. What a magnificent record company. We always get paid right on time.
That's great, man. That is really great.
They're awesome. And you can get our records on darkstarrecord.com, Walmart, Amazon, and anywhere. Barnes and Noble. They're available anywhere that's basically online.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on Darkstar, we've got Time of Truth, we've got Fired Up, we have Hell and High Hills, and we have the current one, Running Like an Outlaw.
Yeah, that's great. It's great to see that. And it's great to see that distribution, like you said. You can get these records, and I urge people to do that. Go look for these records for sure. If you could go back to the Dale of 84 and whisper something in your ear, a piece of advice, what would that be?
Get the right producer.
Yeah. I mean, that was a major component back in the day, for sure.
It was. We weren't allowed to do or be what we wanted to be. And we went into that studio, it was just, he didn't want us to do nothing, and we couldn't be ourselves. And if he would have just put no restrictions, we probably, as kids, wouldn't have rebelled so much.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been such an issue. But since he had to lay down to certain, it's like, you're not our father, hello. But we were kids, but he should have let us, have our fun in the studio as well, instead of just trying to, put us under his, hold us down the way he did. And right. He should have, the guy's a smart man. He should have known that, if you get a rock band, you're going to have to deal with a rock band. And I don't think he really put two and two together as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I wish he would have.
Yeah. Yeah, especially around that time. It was a little wild and crazy for sure.
Yeah, and we were at Cherokee Studios is where he took us, which was back in the day was a great recording studio.
Yeah.
So it was right there with the record plant.
Yep. I remember seeing that. I'm an old school liner notes guy, and I remember seeing Cherokee on a lot of records. A lot of stuff recorded there for sure.
Yeah.
Is there one thing in your life that you've always wanted to do, either personally or musically, professionally? Is there something that you haven't had a chance to do that you've always wanted to do?
Play the Los Angeles Forum.
That would be sweet. Yeah,
that's my bucket list.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, and I'll let you go, Dale. I know you're probably a busy guy working on that 9th one in a row, right? Will I see you? I'm here in Chicago. Are you planning to tour on this record?
We are. We're working on that right now. In fact,
great.
We have a few people, or one very special person that you know very well as well. working on some good things for us, and we're hoping it comes through. Yeah. And we've got a show at the Vortex coming up here, and we've currently moved to Ohio, so that's where we're residing now. Okay. And it's great, great music scene. We're 60 miles from Cleveland, and it's really a great place. We went from Los Angeles to Missouri, got out of there about as fast as we could pack our bags. But and now the house we're selling it, and we love being here in Ohio, and it's a wonderful place. And good to hear. We got a show on October 1st, and we got one at the Vortex, and then we got one at Club 253, which is here in Alliance, which is September 17th. But we're waiting for some things to come through with Jody, and we're banking on those. And she's got a few things that we're crossing our fingers for.
Man, that is good news. I love to hear that, man. I hope you make it out to Chicago or somewhere close where I can come see you. That would be awesome.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I would love that.
Yeah, very, very cool.
God has been wonderful. It's been wonderful. And thank you so much for having me on the show.
Man, I appreciate your time. Appreciate your music. Thank you so much for all the years.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And enjoy the music. Keep rocking.
So you got it, man. And you're always welcome. Doors always open, man.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, Del.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.